Was there no end to Mum's meanness? Who cared if he had a few old socks scattered around the place? "I can't believe you're making me do this!" screamed Henry. He glared at Mum. Then he glared at his crumpled socks. The socks were miles away from the sofa. He'd pick them up later. Much later. "Henry, your turn to hoover the sitting room," said Mum. "Peter, your turn to dust." "No!" howled Horrid Henry. "I'm allergic to hoovers." Mum ignored him. "Then empty the bins and put the dirty clothes into the washing machine and make sure you separate the whites from the coloureds." Henry didn't move. "It will only take 15 minutes, said Mum. "It's not fair," wailed Henry. "I hoovered last week." "No, you didn't. I did," said Peter. "I did!" screamed Henry. "Liar?" "Liar! Can't I do it later?" said Horrid Henry. Later had such a happy way of turning into never. "N-O spells no," said Mum. Peter started dusting the TV. "Stop it," said Henry. "I'm watching." "I'm dusting," said Peter. "Out of my way, worm," hissed Horrid Henry. Mum marched over and switched off the TV. "No TV until you do your chores, Henry. Everyone has to pitch in and help in this family." Horrid Henry was outraged. Why should he help around the house? That was his lazy parents' job. Didn't he work hard enough already, heaving his heavy bones to school every day? And all the schoolwork he did. It was amazing, thought Horrid Henry as he lay kicking and screaming on the sofa, that he was still alive. "I won't! I'm not your slave!" "Henry, it's not fair if Mum and Dad do all the housework," said perfect Peter. That seemed fair to Henry. "Quite right, Peter," said Mum, beaming. "What a lovely, thoughtful boy you are." "Shut up, Peter!" screamed Henry. "Don't be horrid, Henry!" screamed Mum. "No TV and no pocket money until you do your chores," said Dad, running in. Henry stopped screaming. "No pocket money? No TV?" "I don't need any pocket money," shrieked Henry. "Fine," said Mum. Wait, what was he saying? Of course he needed pocket money. How else would he buy sweets? And he'd die if he couldn't watch TV. "I'm calling the police," said Horrid Henry. "They'll come and arrest you for child cruelty." "Finished," sang out perfect Peter. "I've done all my chores," he added. "Can I have my pocket money, please?" "Of course you can," said Mum. She handed Peter a shiny 50p piece. Horrid Henry glared at Peter. Could that ugly toad get any uglier? "All right," snarled Henry. "I'll hoover. And out of my way, frog-faced, or I'll hoover you up." "Mom," wailed Peter, "Henry's trying to hoover me." "Just do your chores, Henry," said Mum. She felt tired. "You could have done all your chores in the time you've spent arguing," said Dad. He felt tired too. Henry slammed the sitting room door behind his mean, horrible parents. He looked at the hoover with loathing. Why didn't that stupid machine just hoover by itself? A robot hoover, that's what he needed. Henry switched it on. "Hoover, Hoover," ordered Henry. The hoover did not move. "Go on, Hoover, you can do it," said Henry. Still, the hoover didn't move. "What a lot of noise that stupid machine makes," thought Henry. "I bet you can hear it all over the house." And then suddenly, Horrid Henry had a brilliant, spectacular idea. Why had he never thought of it before? He'd asked to hoover every week. Henry dragged the hoover over to the sitting room door and left it roaring there. Then he flopped on the sofa and switched on the TV. Great! Hoghouse hadn't finished. Mum and Dad listened to the hoover blaring from the sitting room. Goodness, Henry was working hard. They were amazed. "Isn't Henry doing a good job?" said Mum. "He's been working over 30 minutes non-stop," said Dad. "Finally, he's being responsible," said Mum. "At last," said Dad. "Go, Tarek!" cheered Henry as Tornado Tarek blew into his parents' tidy bedroom. "Ha, ha, ha!" chortled Henry. What a shock those parents would get. "Stay tuned for the filthy final between Tariq and Myra coming up in 3 minutes," said the presenter, Dirty Dirk. Footsteps. Yikes! Someone was coming. Oh no! Henry sprang from the sofa, turned off the telly, and grabbed the hoover. Mum walked in. Horrid Henry began to pant. "I've worked so hard, Mum," gasped Henry. "Please, can I stop now?" Mum stared at the dust balls covering the carpet. "But Henry," said Mum, "there's still dust everywhere." "I can't help it," said Henry. "I did my best." "All right, Henry," said Mum, sighing. "Yes," thought Horrid Henry. "But remember, no TV until you've emptied the bins and separated the laundry." I know, muttered Henry, running up the stairs. If he finished his chores in the next 2 minutes, he'd be in time for the Hoghouse final. Right. Mum said to empty the bins. She didn't say into what, just that the bins had to be empty. It was the work of a few moments to tip all the waste paper baskets onto the floor. "That's done," thought Horrid Henry, racing down the stairs. Now that's stupid laundry. When he was a billionaire computer game tester, he'd never wash his clothes. He'd just buy new ones. Horrid Henry glared at the dirty clothes piled on the floor in front of the washing machine. It would take him hours to separate the whites from the colours. What a waste of his valuable time, thought Henry. Mum and Dad just made him do it to be mean. What difference could it make to wash a red sweatshirt with a white sheet? None. Horrid Henry shoved all the clothes into the washing machine and slammed the door. Free at last. "Dad!" shrieked Horrid Henry. Wow! What a brilliant hoghouse that was, thought Horrid Henry, jingling his pocket money. He wandered past the washing machine. Strange. He didn't remember all those pink clothes swirling around. Since when did his family have pink sheets and pink towels? Since he'd washed a red sweatshirt with the whites. Uh-oh. Mum would be furious. Dad would be furious. His punishment would be terrible. Hide! Thought Horrid Henry. Dad stared at his newly pink underpants, shirts and vests. Mum stared at her best white skirt, now her worst pink one. Henry stared at the floor. This time there was no escape. "Maybe we're asking too much of you," said Dad, gazing at the trail of rubbish lying round the house. You're just not responsive.